Hey there everyone. I thought I would provide an update today from the back of my car instead of from sitting in the driver's seat, since those were starting to get a little old. If you hear the sound of airplanes flying overhead, it's because I am currently staying on the U.S. Air Force base in Columbus, Mississippi. So I have some dear friends that are stationed here that are also adoptive parents, and so I've been fortunate enough to stay here, but I also get the sound of airplanes flying periodically overhead. So anyway, I thought I would use today's video to show you a little bit about how I'm living. So I typically am changing locations every 2 to 3 days, sometimes every day. I think to date I've stayed in about 28 beds so far is what I've counted, and I'm on day 65 of my journey, and I've done 30 interviews with families that have adopted from Ukraine. So I will say that it's been very handy having a little dresser in the back of my car here. It makes it a lot easier for pulling stuff in and out, so that's one of my tricks for living out of my car. But thankfully I have wonderful places to rest my head every night, thanks to the graciousness of all of my hosts. So I'm here in Mississippi, and I thought some people have just asked how the interviews work, what I do, and so typically what happens is I go into a family's home, and I usually spend a little bit of time just hanging out with the family, just seeing, at-home interactions and that sort of thing. And then I'm usually setting up between a 60 and a 90-minute interview with the parents. And I have kind of a stock list of about 25 questions that I've been asking. Usually we don't get through all of them just because of time, but just from questions about why did you adopt, was there unity in the adoption, discussing a lot about the integration of biological children and adopted children, discussing the topics of loss and grief, the changes that took place in the family, a lot focused on around the challenges. I will say that I have done some harder interviews over the last couple weeks. I was able to do 3 different interviews with families who had disrupted their adoption, which means their children are no longer in the home, and those were really hard stories for them to tell and hard stories to hear. But when I set on this journey, I said that I wanted to tell adoption from all angles, from the stories that have the ending that we often hear about in church or that are so often publicized, but sometimes people in their deepest pain can feel very alone and very misunderstood, or just never feel that their voice has a place to be heard amidst all the messaging around adoption. So it's been really good. It's been hard to hear some of the more challenging stories, but it's been really good too, just to give people the space to that. And I have lots of airplanes flying overhead right now. Just to wrestle. I've been wrestling with a lot of questions before God, and honestly, in writing this book, I know that it's going to be hard to know what to share and how to share it, because my goal is that I'm still for adoption. I still believe it is the heart of God, but I also know that there are wiser ways that we can do it. And but what does it mean to wrestle with these harder questions, and for the kids, for the families, for everything? So anyway, so yeah, I had a few really hard stories that were shared with me, and then also had some stories that are really encouraging right now too. So it's a good reminder that life is complicated, and there's a little bit of everything, and it's just that's the way that life is. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to share a little bit in this video. I'm here heading out this week to Oklahoma, and then I'll be in Texas the week leading up to Thanksgiving. So lots of things to be thankful for. So anyway, signing out from Columbus, Mississippi.